So let's go ahead and we've made a good bit of progress, and let's go ahead and talk about it as a whole group. So for A, where did we start with for A?
We made a table.
Okay, you made a table. And
I made an equation thingy.
okay, so there's multiple ways to solve these. So you made a table, and then Kelsey made a system of equations. So we're going to look at both of these. So how did you set up your table?
I did
Zero.
months and money.
Months and money. What was the money?
The charge per month.
So was it charged per month, or how much you had paid through that month?
How much you paid?
Total cost, right? So we just want to make sure we understand this is total cost up to that point. And then you set up the other table the same way?
Yep.
So let's say this one was A and this one was B. So where did you start your table?
0.
0, okay. And then how far did you go?
7.
Okay, so what was it at 0? What was that at the very beginning?
25. I mean, wait, which one are we
We're doing A right
50,
now.
50, 50.
50, okay, how'd you get that?
Because initial fee of $50.
Initial fee of $50, right, so that's what you pay at the very beginning. So then, how much per month were you increasing? Or how, repeatedly adding? 12? So then, that got you what, 62, 74, 86, 98, 110, 122, and 134. Is that what y'all got?
Yes.
Okay, so now for B, did you set up the same way, going through 7?
Yep.
What made you decide to go through 7? Why'd you stop there?
Because we never like going all the way to 12.
What made you, did you see something at 7 that made you say, okay, we can stop now?
Well, we originally went half of the year, which is 6, and then he told us to go to 7.
So let's look at, what did you start with for B?
25.
25, okay, and then how much per month were you repeatedly adding?
4, 16.
16, okay, so that got you 41, 57, what did you get for month 3?
73,
73,
89,
89,
105.
95,
No,
105.
105, thank you. 105,
121,
121,
137.
137. So what do we notice now in these two tables?
On month 7, it's higher.
At month 7, so at month 7,
It's higher for B.
B is more expensive than month 7 for A. Was that true for the whole time?
No.
No,
What was true for months 0 through 6?
it was more than B.
So was A less expensive or more expensive?
More expensive.
More
More.
expensive, right? So A was more expensive than B up until month 7. Okay, so now Kelsey, you said you set up a system of equations. What
I
was
sure did.
what was the system of equations you set up?
Y equals 16x plus 25.
Okay, so that was for streaming service B.
And then
What about for A?
y equals 12x plus 50.
12x plus 50. So how did you get that?
Because I'm just smart like that.
That's good that you're smart, but if I didn't understand, how did you know to do y equals 16x plus 25? Where did those numbers come from?
Because you start with 25, so it's and then 16 times the months, and then plus 25.
Okay, so let's start with what form of equation is this in?
That's so the y equals b. So
Slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay. So how did you know that 25 or 50 was your b?
Because that's our starting point.
It's our starting point, or our
Intercept.
which intercept?
Y.
Y-intercept. Good. Okay. Now, how did you know that your m was 16 or that your m was 12?
Because that's where that's my slope.
How did you know that was your slope?
Because
That's what you're repeatedly
repeatedly adding that.
That's what you're repeatedly adding, right? So you're repeatedly adding 12 a month or 16 per month. And how do we show repeated addition?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. There we go. So that's how we got that system of equations. So what did we do once we got up to that point?
What do you mean? looked it up.
So we had a table, a system of equations. What else did we look at?
Oh. That's all we put. And then we put that at 7, and more than 7 months A, and less than 7 months B, and then at 7 months A.
Okay, so we looked at, so you said that for the first 6 months, B was cheaper, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, A is cheaper.
Yeah.
What other representation, someone other than Kelsey, so what other representation did we look at to confirm that?
The graph.
The graph. What do we use the graph?
A graph.
Did you graph it by hand?
Oh, we used the Desmos.
We use Desmos, right? Now, just due to time, we're not gonna be able to review exactly how they did that. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But Desmos was a good tool to see exactly, to make sure that our table was right and that our equations were right and confirm what we said for our recommendation. But what did we see when we looked at Desmos? When we looked at that point of intersection, what was our point of intersection?
It was 6.25125.
125. Would you have been able to see that if you graphed by hand?
No.
No, right? So that's why we use Desmos to see that. Now, what does this solution mean?
It means that it works for the equations.
Or what do you mean works for the equations?
And it makes it true.
It makes both the equations true. But does this point make sense for the context of our problem?
No,
No.
Why not?
because you can't have 1/4 of a month.
You can't have I can't pay 1/4 of a month subscription, right? So that's why we were looking at, 6 months, comparing what the price is at 6 months and the price at 7 months.
We're looking at whole numbers.
Looking at, exactly, because I can't pay 1/4 of a month subscription. So for homework,
No, forget about it. Don't do it. Don't. We don't
You
need
said
it.
don't forget about it.
I mean, forget about it. We don't need it.
come on.
We're smart in this class. we
So
don't
for
need
homework, if you haven't already finished, I just want to make sure that on this task, you explain how the context, equation, table, graph, all convey the same information. So all tell you that conclusion that we've come to. So just make sure to, on your sheet, I'll talk to most of you understand, but on there explain how the table, the graph, the context,
On here?
the system of equations, how it all conveys the same information to you.
Also, I did not get very many 5.6 back today, so I'm going to be